Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're going to be looking at a scenario of what if Persindia returned on the perfect WICSO map I have here. And yeah, as you can see, they are absolutely ginormous. Their empire stretches on 5 of the 7 continents. Of course, Antarctica is not here, and they also never had land in Europe, so that's only 5 of the continents. But they do have, of course, their mainland in India and whatnot being for Asia. They have land in Madagascar for Africa. They would have Tanzania if I had taken this map from a different episode. I don't know when Tanzania got their independence, but I took this from the episode before World War One. So this would be when they would be at their peak. Going back to what I was saying, we have their territory over in Oceania, in northern Australia. They have their land in southern China. They have their land over in Alaska, and they have their land over here in South America. Another thing you will notice is that some countries have been forced to move their capital. Like this guy has moved their capital, and Persia has moved their capital. Most notably, the Alaskan country has moved their capital. And then there's also the few countries who just don't have any major cities left, which we will be talking about throughout this video, because that's going to be the kind of beginning of how the Lime team's going to go about their foreign policy. And yeah, if you do go ahead and enjoy this video, make sure you do like and subscribe. I'm not pressuring that now. I'll say it again at the end of the video if I remember, of course. And yeah, let's jump right on into this scenario. Last week on Tuesday, I believe, is when I uploaded the Old Empire returning video, and I feel like it's definitely a good idea, but I feel like I didn't execute it well. So we're going to be looking at these scenarios a little differently. And yeah, so let's get started off. First of all, there are, I believe, 3 countries who don't have any major cities left to move their capitals to. The first one of which is all the way over here in South America, which is this very large yellow country, which you'd be surprised has no major cities outside of the 2 over here on the coastline. And these 2 might have been a part of it. I honestly can't remember where the border lied or lay, or used to lay. And yeah, so there's that guy. And then over here next to their core territory, we do see the continued existence of India and also the existence of this maroonish country here, which, if you don't know, is kind of like a small kind of attempted successor state to the Lime team. And seeing that the Lime team is here, this thing that doesn't really have a government will kind of just get fully incorporated into the Lime team automatically. And this is like not surprising because those guys were like really in favor of the Lime team. And yeah, now we get to look at the global reaction of the world, which is a little something along the lines of we need to get rid of this thing now. And yeah, there are a lot of countries who are particularly opposed to this thing, like the brown Australian country who lost land in the north, and then Alaska, who is obviously crippled. So, yeah, those countries are definitely out for revenge. Same for Persia, most definitely. But also, countries like China and the Mesopotamian countries are a little concerned about this guy because, I mean, look at him. Another country who's also kind of concerned is Tanzania because they gained their independence from this thing. But, like, I mean, they don't know if they're going to be a target to the Lime team. They don't really know what's going on in this country's head. Of course, it's an ancient country resurfacing in kind of a modern day. There's not a specific year that this would take place in, of course, in the WICSO timeline, so it's really hard to represent. But yeah, anyways, that's enough of the yapping. We're gonna get back to the Lime team expanding because they're a historical empire. That is most definitely what they would be doing. Because now they have given an offer to this remaining Indian state, which is like, join us. There's no point. You don't have any population. Just join us or have your remaining military outposts obliterated. And the Indians will have no other choice but to accept these demands because, I mean, they are hardly a country. And yeah, the Lime team has already expanded twice, and the world is scared, to say the least, because, I mean, this thing is absolutely ginormous. I don't really know what this thing would try to do as of invasion wise, because there's a lot they can do, really. But yeah, let's head down to our last country who doesn't really have a capital or any major city. And yeah, we're going to see this thing getting partitioned. And the easiest way to do this is to pull up the provinces layer and slowly draw in brand new borders with our paintbrush tool here. I feel like this is going to be a very simple piece deal here because, I mean, what really is there to divide? There's just a whole bunch of nothing here. And yeah, we're going to see this being divided between three different countries here. The three most powerful bordering states, the Paraguayan Lime country is not going to get anything out of this because they are a pretty weak country. But yeah, I might recolor this guy. And let's like recolor them to that for now. That's not like something I'm gonna keep on the map, but that's just because they're gonna have a lime neighbor. I actually already did this over in Mesopotamia because this guy up here was a lime country. I had to change their color a little bit because they actually directly bordered this thing already. So yeah, anyways, back to this partition. The lime team will be getting all of this southern land here. This is a very large chunk of land that, I mean, has a lot of military value, but outside of that, I really don't know what the point of having all this is. You're probably not going to be doing anything much in South America outside of that in this video, so, I mean, what's the point? Next up, we head on over to the Brazilian claim, which is this, I believe, two provinces. I forget how many provinces were in this, but we're going to see Brazil annexing all this area here. And yeah, that just leaves this northern area over here. And this northern area will be given over to the Peruvian country, which is a pretty good expansion for this guy because this guy is pretty irrelevant, if I do have to say so myself. I mean, they were one of the key communist countries during World War IV, but I mean, yeah, I don't think they've ever expanded outside of their territory here and this little area up here, like ever. So yeah, this is just what South America will look like now. One less country, but it's not like that country really had much of a government anyway to operate out of. So really, what are you changing? Anyways, that's enough of yapping there. Let's talk about this North American claim here, because the Lime team is reaping the benefits of this Alaskan territory. It's very populated and it's very resource rich. And the Alaskans are obviously mad about this, and they want to retain control over this area here, and they don't really have any means to do that. So they're going to sign an alliance with California, one that won't be represented because it's just going to be a two-person alliance, and it's basically going to be aimed at preventing the Lime team from expanding any further into North America. And the Lime team doesn't really care because they didn't have any ambitions to in the first place. They only ever really bought that area because it was on sale and it was kind of cheap, if I remember correctly. And yeah, that was only to serve as to their advantage. This doesn't really serve to do any advantage for them. I gotta clean this border up. I don't think I did earlier, but yeah, anyways, that's enough about North America. Let's talk about this guy over here, which I completely forgot about. This guy has no capital city at all, no major city. They only had the one that was their capital. And from here, they're just gonna stop existing. The Lime team will once again use their strange diplomacy to fully annex that country. And yeah, the Lime team is pretty questionable in their expansionist ethics, but you know, they've not really fought a war yet, and that is kind of surprising. That is, until now, because we head down to Oceania, where Lime team forces will be deployed to create stability in the brown Australian country. I mean, this thing is very low in population. Nobody really cares much about this invasion that's going on, but it's going to happen nonetheless, and it will eventually lead to the capturing of the entire coastline and the capital of this country, to where this thing will fully surrender and capitulate. Of course, there's not much of a point in having a whole peace deal over this, because this guy's just going to get fully annexed. And also, I've been saying this throughout my past couple of videos, I've been trying to do all these videos in one clip, so I have less time that I have to spend on editing, and more time that I can use to creating more videos. So yeah, kind of using this to keep up my daily upload schedule, and it's been working out so far. Anyways, that country got fully annexed because, but now we're gonna head on over to Persia, which is looking really strange. They do have access to the Persian Gulf still, but they're split into three. And yeah, this is gonna cause some problems. First of all, we're gonna see the Lime team annexing this area up here, pretty unopposed. And before that even happened, we saw this area over here joining up with the Orange Afghanistani country, which is kind of a weird choice, but you know what? It might be better than the Lime team. Who knows? We don't really know what this guy's doing. But yeah, let's talk about the rest of this. Because Persia will not be able to survive like this, and the Lime team knows that. So they are going to be quote unquote liberating Libya of their I don't really know what they're liberating them from actually. They're gonna say liberating them from their harsh conditions or something. But yeah, we're going to see the Persian country very quickly being pushed up to their Caspian coastline here, to which the country will be forced to surrender over to the Lime team. Of course, once again, we don't really need a peace treaty because it's just going to be full annexation. We're going to erase this border completely, and of course, we also get to get rid of their capital, which is a pretty big moment because the Lime team has all of Persia and all of India, hence Persindia. But they've also officially reached the border of Mesopotamia, and this is scaring uh all these Mesopotamian countries. But yeah, the Lime team, they don't really care because once again, they're being very questionable with their foreign policy. They have been saying they're quote unquote liberating countries, and have they really been? Not at all. But now we get to take a look at the next step that this country will be taking, which is their first non quote unquote liberation war, and is called a war of reclamation. Um, the Orange Philippine country is, I believe, it had land that was once a part of the Lime team before I took this map, and yeah, the Lime team wants this island back. I believe they also had this island over here. Maybe some of these, but yeah, we're gonna see this Philippine orange country beginning to get invaded by the Lime team. Very quickly, this country will be obliterated off the face of the earth, and this is when the repercussions begin to come because a whole bunch of countries are tired at this point of all this madness that's been going on, and they want to put an end to the Lime team's expansion. To start off, we're going to see an alliance forming, an alliance that is clearly in opposition to the existence of the Lime team, and this alliance will be the Circle Alliance, and it will be conveniently under the leadership of China, who has had a Circle Alliance under their command before. But yeah, them and South China will be the first two members, and soon after, we're going to see the Purple Manchurian country, who got obliterated in Monday's video, being or Sunday's video, actually, I think. Yeah, Sunday's video, in the Korean Empire video. Yeah, they're going to be joining this. And so will this green country over here, who has done absolutely nothing in their existence. But yeah, now they have been kind of forced into this alliance, and these guys are just trying to protect East Asia here. And yeah, another country will be interested in joining this, and that country is the Northern Philippine country, the pink team here. Unfortunately for them, however, the circle team knows that the lime team has ambitions in the pink purple team, the pink team over here in Northern Philippines. So they're gonna deny this because they know the lime team's not scared to go to war with this alliance. Anyways, without further ado, we can finally get rid of this orange Philippine country from the map and stop the yapping because I'm yapping way too much. Anyways, with that, we're going to see that that full Philippine country has been annexed and erased off the map. And yeah, let's continue to look at the Lime Team's expansion, which is something that is been going on for a while, and nobody's really stopped it. But now it's going to reach a new extent, because the Lime Team will be going after a country in a completely different area. And this country is none other than the country of Madagascar. Madagascar already had to move their capital. They have been absolutely obliterated by the Lime team. They lost their most important city, and definitely most populated city by a long shot. The southern part of Madagascar is a lot poorer and a lot less developed than northern Madagascar, and it's not that that matters, but yeah, this country was already crippled, and the Lime Team's going to use that to justify their full invasion. But something weird will be happening here. The Lime Team will not be annexing the entire country. First of all, they will be annexing the islands of Mauritius and Réunion, and they will also be annexing a large portion of the main island of Madagascar, about as much to this line that I'm creating right now here in the center of the island. But why would they not annex the entire island? Who really knows? But we're going to see the Lime Team annexing the northern half of this country, once again, dealing a whole bunch of damage to this already broken country. And yeah, they're going to force this country to move its capital even further south. Port of Madagascar. They've just been bullied this video. But you know what? You're kind of in the way of this scenario, so eh, I wouldn't shame the Lime Team as much. Anyways, yeah, why would the Lime Team do that? Obviously, they are not really dedicated to that area, given that they didn't even take over the entirety of Madagascar. So, what really was the purpose of doing that? Well, it's to get access to this naval port here. Why? Because this naval port is not enough, and they want to stockpile a whole bunch of resources in Madagascar for one of their future ambitions, which you should probably brace for Tanzania. But yeah. Anyways, that's gonna do it for their ambitions in Africa for now, because now we're gonna head on over to South America, where Red Chile is struggling. Their population took a massive blow, as most of the land that is in this slime colony here was actually theirs, and it's done a massive blow to the red team, which they have not been able to recover. So the red team, in a last ditch effort, will be uniting with another country in order to hopefully improve their current conditions. And that country is none other than the Patagonian country down here, who will go ahead and gladly take in these guys to help secure this region because they're scared of the Lime team. Let's be real. Most countries in the world are at this point, and I mean, how couldn't you be? Because it's just a giant country that appeared out of nowhere, and it's kind of just terrorizing a whole bunch of small countries. So, yeah. Anyways, with that, we do see the unification of the southern point of South America. That kind of looks cool on the map now that I think about it. But yeah, that's all we came down here for. The Lime team's a little bummed about that because they might have had ambitions there. But yeah, North America's still chill. We don't need to talk about that. But an area we do need to talk about is East Asia because these guys are scared, and the Lime team is about to completely test the waters. We head on over to the island of Taiwan, which just got absolutely bombed and obliterated off the map. The Lime team will hold a very quick operation in Taiwan, a country who was very much debating whether they should have joined this alliance with the East Asian countries. Well, too bad. You don't get to debate that anymore. You're not even existing. So, yeah, you should probably have not debated that because you probably would still exist. But you don't anymore. From here, we're going to see the Lime team going on an expansionist quest in the Philippines because these guys are doing absolutely nothing, and the Lime team is going to take advantage of that. They're going to start an invasion into the northern Philippine country with this island over here. Soon after, they invade these islands over here. But then after that, they just kind of invade this guy, and then they invade this guy, and then they return their focus to this guy up here, and then it's like, okay, you're gone. What's going on here? What happened? Um, it just appears a bit of error appeared in the ocean. We'll ignore that, but yeah, let's look at this peace treaty, which has obliterated the Philippine Islands, and yeah, all three of these countries will be fully annexed by the Lime team, which is definitely overstretching their grasp at this point because their main land focus is kind of not even in the Indian subcontinent anymore. It's not even close. But now we're gonna see the Lime team going on a very, very risky operation. And this operation is an invasion into Bangladesh. Bangladesh is a pretty neutral country. They've not done much throughout the history of WICSO. Um, and yeah, they're gonna be erased off the map here very quickly. They are pretty weak, but the whole reason that I bring this much attention to this event is because this country is right on the border of a Circle Team Alliance member, and yeah, the second this thing surrenders, panic is absolutely created in all these member countries, and these guys are beginning to go to war because they think it's the end of the road for them. It isn't though, because these guys don't really care that much. So, yeah, the Lime team will be getting away with yet another expansion, very close to the territory of, at this point, their enemies. The Lime team didn't have much bad relations with countries like China in their time period, but now they do, and it's only because of them existing, which is kind of weird, because before they were fine with them existing. Time changes, huh? But yeah, at this point, the Lime team is definitely in control of the waters around all of a certain country here who is absolutely scared for their life. And yeah, probably for a good reason. The Lime team is definitely preparing to invade Vietnam. But we don't get to worry about that now because the Lime team has been also preparing in another area, and that area is a very important area over here in Mesopotamia because they will be launching an invasion into this country here, very quickly removing their capital from their country. And yeah, they are going to be fully annexing this country here, which is a message, to say the least, towards these Mesopotamian countries, because they just expanded to the border of Mesopotamia, which is a very risky move, yet again. The Lime team is just testing the waters on everything. They want to see how Mesopotamia will react. Well, it's not going to be so lightly, because all these countries will do what they do best and do that. And the blue team will also do some similar things down here. And yeah, just give me a moment to erase all these borders because there are a lot of borders down here, surprisingly. For the most united region, I decided to create a lot of borders, which is kind of weird, even though most of these borders basically don't exist. I mean, maybe on a physical map, they're not there, but on a political map, they're there, but they're not really there. Nobody recognizes them in these countries, and you're basically free to walk through any of these guys to any other country, and it's a little weird, but it's definitely a policy that you can do. And I think with this, I've erased all the borders, maybe. And yeah, this is a pretty big sign to the Lime country that you should probably stop in your expansion, or you're probably going to face an even larger coalition than you had intended on facing. They plan on fighting a coalition, which is kind of funny because everyone's kind of too scared to form a coalition against this guy. But I mean, you know what? It totally could happen. The blue team wants to start a coalition because they're missing all this land up here. Also, Socotra. I forget if that's part of them or the gold team on this map, but I mean, they want that. Madagascar is definitely going to join a coalition. They want to get rid of that guy. So, yeah. What's the Lime team's next move? Well, yeah, what they do best, and that is completely surrounding a country and naval invading them. The Lime team's navy is definitely the strongest in this world at this point, and they're going to utilize every last one of Vietnam's ports to start a naval invasion into Vietnam at once. This is a very quick operation, and it is not gonna go well in Vietnam's favor, as the coastline's very quickly gonna get dotted with lime dots here. This whole area is just gonna fall over. A very valuable area just falling over that quickly is never a good sign, And then over here in the mainland of Vietnam, we're going to see yet again more and more naval landings happening. This is not at all good for Vietnam. This whole southern area here will very quickly fall, as well as these areas on the coastline near this Cambodian region. So yeah, with that, the Vietnamese country has been lit up like a lime Christmas tree. And yeah, Indian forces will begin to push out of Bangladesh towards these naval landing areas here, and very quickly they're going to connect the entire coastline of Myanmar. They're going to push in here, taking all this land in about a week. Soon after this, most of these landings will push to connect up with at least one other group, and some will even be strong enough to take out major cities. And yeah, the Vietnamese are incapable of doing anything, so much so that their capital is going to fall, and this isn't even the main force. In their southern area, this whole area is going to fall over alongside Malaya over here. There's not much they can do. From here, this area is going to push up, and yeah, now it's almost all connected. And yeah, that's the final stance of the Vietnamese. As at this point, they're completely landlocked, and they're going to go ahead and surrender. The Lime team absolutely just had their way with Vietnam here, and they could fully annex them if they wanted to, but they don't see that as something that would primarily benefit them in the long run. They don't want all this land, so they're only going to be taking some of the land. And we're going to go ahead and see what this looks like. Most of the land they will be taking up is going to be in the west because that will grant them full connection up to their colonies and land in Indonesia, which is something they've been wanting for a while now. And yeah, that would mostly benefit them. And I think that this line I've just drawn in is all that needs to be done to represent how much the Persindians will be taking from this war, which is the majority of Vietnam. And yeah, poor Vietnam here. They got absolutely bullied into giving up most of their territory, but I mean, the Lime team's been doing this, and you saw them preparing, so yeah, the Lime team's kind of just gonna get away with this, like they have been with most of these things that they've done so far. But yeah, the international community is a little scared to do anything because this empire is absolutely ginormous. They're kind of just hoping that it's gonna begin to fall apart on itself, but it kind of just doesn't. And it's gotten so bad that the Lime team themselves cannot expand much anymore without starting a coalition against them that they know they could win, but even if they win it, it's going to cause so much instability that this empire just goes away. So, yeah, the Lime team will be forced to end their expansion here, and that's going to do it for this empire scenario. It's not really an empire scenario, but that's going to do it here because the Lime team is out of space to go. They are too scared to do anything, and it's basically like they've been checkmated, but they are like stuck. They can't do anything. It's not like they're gone, but if they do anything, it's World War Six or World War whatever this would be, and they would not come out of that perfectly because a whole bunch of countries would want to take down the strongest country in the world. The only thing I could see them doing really is invading this guy here, but then that country's really neutral. They probably don't. The world will probably not have a good reaction to that, so you're not going to do that. Anyways, that's going to do it for today's scenario. I know it's a little bit of a longer one. Uh, I wanted to avoid doing that, but it ended up happening anyway. So yeah, if you made it this far into the video, make sure you do subscribe. It really helps out. Also, liking the video shows that you enjoy this type of video. So if you do enjoy this type of video, like it, that'll show it to more people, and that will make it do better overall. And yeah, I also made a VODs channel the other day. I'll start uploading my VODs there. I have no idea if I've streamed since I've made that channel because I made it during the weekend, and this video is coming up on Tuesday. I like to record my videos a lot earlier. Like last week, I had all the WICSO videos prepared a week in advance, and yeah, that's not the case here, but yeah. Anyways, that's gonna do it. Make sure you do subscribe if you made it this far, and I will see you all in the next video.